Hi everyone, Dan Plaster from CBC, and as tradition at CBC, we do a whole bunch of year-end videos, and right now we have the opportunity to catch up with somebody we don't get a chance to talk to a lot, and that is the President and CEO of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that's Craig Reynolds. Craig, thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Dan. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Great season, great build, a slow build with the fan reaction and crowd build, some good steps forward. How was it this season in your eyes, both on the field and off the field?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think it was a season of positive momentum that we built through the season. I think we're seeing that in the off season as well. You know, I think when you get so close to your goal and being one win away from playing in the Grey Cup, there's a period of disappointment. But once you get past that, and you reflect on where we were, say, a year ago and where we're now, hosting a home playoff game, winning a home playoff game, leading the league in all-star selections, our head coach being the West Division all-star selection, or coach of the year selection, lots of positive steps. So we're feeling that positive momentum, and it's leading into the off-season. And
it's been a tumultuous 5 years for everyone, and it seems like entertainment, and this is an entertainment product, has taken some of the biggest hits. How has that roller coaster ride been?
Yeah, it's certainly been challenging, and I think a lot of that comes down to some of the challenges with the cost of living, right? The rising cost of living and inflation, and ensuring we're providing, a value for our product. And so those affordability concerns, I think are real, and discretionary spend sometimes is the first thing that gets hit. So, we've been really focusing on families and making sure that we provide an affordable option for our family, whether that's be family packs, or this year we reintroduced half price off our youth tickets. So we've seen really, really good pickup with that. We've seen our crowds are a lot younger, and I think that's going to pay dividends over the long term.
And it seems like the last remnants of the pandemic is the rental situation with the Rough Rider Football Club and Mosaic Stadium. It was rectified at council. Explain it to me the mayor explained it to us on the morning edition with Stephanie Langenegger. Explain it to me from the Saskatchewan Roughriders side.
Yeah, certainly it was a contractual matter that we had to work through with administration, and a lot of times that takes some time. So I certainly appreciate the way administration approached it, and certainly appreciate council's understanding the situation. At the end of the day, there's contract language that generally addresses things like a pandemic. There's sort of force majeure clauses. So it's just a matter of working through that to what's a fair and reasonable resolution of the matter. And I think we got there. I think we got to something that was very fair for us and very fair for the city, and we're happy to move forward now.
And is that the message you would send to fans and the citizens of Regina, that it was fair for both sides?
Yeah, I really believe it was. At the end of the day, lease defines the services that we receive, and through nobody's fault, we had a global pandemic, we just didn't receive those services. So I think anybody and any entity, when they don't receive services that are defined in their lease, they're gonna look to see what is a reasonable and fair resolution of that, and I think we got there.
Does it feel some relief that it feels like it's been a long time, but that whole 2 years is finally behind you?
In terms of the pandemic?
Yes.
Yeah, those are tough years. I reflect back on it a lot, and you look at, we suffered significant financial losses, and at times, from a league perspective, when you don't play for a year, you wonder about the long-term impacts of that. And I think we saw some of those impacts sort of over the short term. I think it's turning now. I think people are coming back and re-engaging. But it certainly has impacts, and glad it's behind us. Never thought I'd be dealing with a global pandemic, and I'm really glad it's passed.
Were there some hard decisions that you had to make?
Yeah, I think, whenever you're dealing with something like that, where essentially you're not allowed to run your business, we weren't allowed to operate our games, you have to make some very tough decisions at times. So thankfully there were some government programs that sort of assisted us and allowed us to move forward. But those were stressful times for the organization. They were stressful times for the Canadian Football League, I would say. Thankfully we've come out of that on the other side, and there's some really good positive momentum with the league itself too.
Talk about that momentum with the league.
Yeah, I think we're seeing it, in TV ratings. Our TV ratings have really improved. Our product, I think you're seeing our product. Scoring is up, 2-and-outs are down, penalties are down, games are close. There's a lot of parity in the league. So at the end of the day, fans want exciting games. They generally want close games. I know in my position, I don't necessarily always want close games. They're the more stressful ones. But I think that's exciting for fans, and so I think you're seeing some really positive growth in the league as well. And on top of that, we have really strong ownership in the league right now.
With this situation here with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, you spoke about it earlier about the momentum that is building. You talked about the half-price tickets for youth and that sort of thing. What are some of the other things that you are doing or the football club starts to continue to do to continue to grow and regrow this fan base?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I think our focus really is on youth and families, and I think that's how you secure from a long-term perspective. That I think that strategy will ultimately pay dividends, because that's how I became a fan, interacting with the team. And so I think the work we do in the community is really, really important. It goes beyond just the pricing of tickets, but when you get our players are our best ambassadors. When you get our players out in schools, this year through our foundation, between our reading program and our mental health program, we'll have visited over 30,000 students across the province. And so when you get our players out interacting with students, and a lot of them are new Canadians, a lot of them are Indigenous, so those are growth opportunities for us. So I think that, like I said, that'll pay dividends in the long haul.
And another great ambassador is Corey Mace.
Yes.
Looking from afar, I bought in. I rarely buy in, but I bought in. Is his enthusiasm infectious?
Yeah, it is. He is the real deal, and he is authentic. And what you see with Corey is what you get. He just every day he comes with that passion and that infectious energy, as you described. And I just was so excited. He wanted to move here. He wanted to move his whole family here. They've sort of committed to the community. He's got extremely involved in the community. He was burning the brand at Canadian Western Agribition a couple of weeks ago, and so those types of things are really, really important in the market. He's really embraced being a Rough Rider. He really understands how much this team means to the province and the people of the province, and you see that every single day. So he's exceeded our expectations. We had high expectations. After you meet him, you have high expectations, but he's exceeded those expectations. He's been everything we've hoped for and more.
Did this season on the field kind of give you feels of what 2012 felt like building into 2013? Hate to kind of throw that in there, but it kind of had those feels to me.
Yeah, the reality is a lot of times that's what happens, right? Is 3 of the last 5 years we've actually been in the West Final, and we haven't been able to get over the hump. Sometimes it's experience, and you see that a lot of times in pro sports where teams get close and then eventually they break through. So I got all the faith in the world for our football leadership, in Jeremy and Corey, that they're going to really look at what do we need to do this offseason to get over the hump. What do we need to do to play that West Final at home, have that first round bye, and put us in position to play and compete for a Grey Cup.
For you now, it's almost 10 years in this position. It hasn't been easy. Are you looking forward to, hopefully, I mean, it's never easy running a large business like this. Are you looking forward to hopefully some easier times?
That's always a hope. I would say the one thing about pro sports is it's very unpredictable, right? I think when I started this job, I never would have predicted that we'd be dealing with a global pandemic and not be able to play games and then have a shortened season and be playing the Grey Cup in December is when we played that Grey Cup. So there's always a lot of change in pro sports, and there's a lot of curveballs thrown at you. But I feel really good, as I talked about earlier, with a lot of positive momentum with our fandom, a lot of positive momentum with our team, and winning in pro sports solves a lot of problems, and it's infectious. And I think you saw that this year with our fans. There was a lot of energy around this football team. We've got our core of our football team under contract. Like I said, we've got some great football leaders that I think are going to make all the right decisions in the offseason. I think we're on the verge of something really, really good here.
And final question, as it is coming up onto 10 years, what would you tell the Craig Reynolds of 10 years ago? What bits of advice would you give that Craig Reynolds that you know now?
I would just tell him to get ready for a wild ride and expect the unexpected. I think, like I said, it's really unpredictable. I got some good advice from Jim Hobson, and he sort of said that too, now that I reflect back. And he said the highs are really high and the lows are really low, and there is a bit of that. It is that type of job and the type of industry where the highs are really, really exciting, and you embrace those and you really relish in those. The lows can be very, very challenging, and we had some lows, whether it's the pandemic or a couple tough seasons. So I would just tell them, get ready for a wild ride.
Craig, thank you for this and have a great Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas.